Have you ever questioned the sincerity of your prayers? What does it mean to truly worship? This exploration begins with an insightful analysis by C.S. Lewis on the nature of prayer and worship. He suggests that honesty in prayer is paramount and uses Psalm 62:8 as a guide. This verse invites us to trust in Him at all times, you people. Pour out your hearts to Him, for God is our refuge. In this context, trust signifies more than mere belief. It symbolizes a deep-seated faith that permeates our very being. Trusting in God at all times is a call to unwavering faith, regardless of circumstances. Pouring out our hearts to Him is a metaphor for sincere, heartfelt prayer. It's about expressing our deepest emotions, fears, hopes, and dreams to God. This verse thus encourages us to approach God with open hearts, void of pretense or superficiality. It's an invitation to engage in a raw, honest dialogue with our Creator. It reminds us that when we are genuine in our prayers, we find God as our refuge, a sanctuary where we can unburden our hearts, free of judgment or condemnation. So the essence of true worship isn't about eloquent words or grand gestures. It's about being authentic and vulnerable, laying our souls bare before our Maker. It's about the courage to be ourselves in the presence of the divine. So, in the end, true worship comes from a place of genuine trust and unreserved emotional honesty. Have you ever cried out for justice, wondering if your plea reaches the divine ears? This cry for justice is a recurring theme in the Psalms, a theme that C.S. Lewis explores with profound insight. Consider Psalm 7 verse 9. Bring to an end the violence of the wicked, and make the righteous secure. You, the righteous God who probes minds and hearts. This verse gives voice to the cry for justice, a plea for God to intervene and set things right. It's a raw, honest appeal to the ultimate judge. In exploring this theme, Lewis reminds us that God is not indifferent to our cries. He is a righteous judge, one who probes minds and hearts seeking truth and fairness. This understanding of God's nature is not only comforting but also calls us to have faith in His judgment, even when human justice seems to fail us. Indeed, justice is not a mere human construct but a divine attribute, manifesting itself in the righteous God who probes minds and hearts. What does joy sound like when it echoes in the halls of heaven? Imagine the sheer delight that emanates from the Psalms, a harmony of faith and jubilation that C.S. Lewis emphasizes in his reflections. Take Psalm 95 verses 1 and 2 for instance. Come, let us sing for joy to the Lord, let us shout aloud to the rock of our salvation. Let us come before Him with thanksgiving and extol Him with music and song. Here the psalmist is not merely suggesting, but inviting us to celebrate the greatness of God, to sing, to shout, to come forth with hearts full of thanksgiving, to extol Him with music and song. This isn't a reserved, quiet acknowledgement. No, it's a vibrant, passionate outpouring of joy. It's a celebration. This is the essence of praise in the Psalms as Lewis saw it, a joyful noise that resonates through the ages. In this symphony of faith, every note of joy and praise resounds to the rock of our salvation. Have you ever noticed the echoes of Christ's life in the verses of the Psalms? Let's delve into this fascinating concept of messianic psalms that C.S. Lewis explores in his reflections. Psalms, those ancient songs of faith, have a profound connection with the life of Christ, acting as premonitions of His experiences centuries before His birth. Take for instance Psalm 22:1. My God, why have you forsaken me? Why are you so far from saving me, so far from my cries of anguish? This cry of despair, penned by King David, is echoed in the New Testament. In one of the most poignant moments of the Bible, Jesus quotes this very verse while on the cross as recorded in Matthew 27:46. This connection is no mere coincidence. The Psalms, in their depth and breadth of human experience, prefigure the life of Christ, encapsulating His joys, His sorrows, His trials, and His triumphs. They are, in a sense, a mirror reflecting the Messiah's journey. Lewis, in his perceptive analysis, helps us see this connection, guiding us to realize that the Psalms are not just songs of an ancient era, but timeless reflections of Christ's life. They act as a bridge, linking the Old Testament with the New, and bringing us closer to understanding the divine narrative. In the Psalms, we discover the whispers of Christ's life, resonating through centuries and reaching out to us today. Have you ever been captivated by the beauty of the divine? This question invites us to delve into the aesthetic dimension of our faith, a theme that C.S. Lewis explored in his reflections on the Psalms. In Psalm 27 verse 4, the psalmist expresses a profound desire, a single request. One thing I ask from the Lord, this only do I seek, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, to gaze on the beauty of the Lord and to seek him in his temple. This verse encapsulates the psalmist's longing for the divine, a longing that finds its fulfillment in the beauty of God's presence. Lewis, in his examination of the Psalms, recognized that this beauty transcends mere aesthetics. It is not confined to the realm of the visual or the sensory. It is a beauty that speaks to the soul, a beauty that draws us closer to the heart of God. It is in essence a beauty that is deeply spiritual, a beauty that reflects the glory of the divine. To gaze upon the beauty of the Lord, as the psalmist desires, is to engage in a profound act of worship. It is to acknowledge the greatness of God, to recognize his majesty and splendor. It is to be drawn into an intimate communion with the divine, a communion that is marked by awe and reverence. And yet this beauty is not distant or unattainable. It is present in the house of the Lord, in his temple. It is found in the act of seeking God, in the pursuit of his presence. It is a beauty that is accessible to us, a beauty that invites us to come and behold. So when we read the Psalms, when we engage with these ancient songs of faith, we are invited into this experience of divine beauty. We are invited to gaze upon the beauty of the Lord, to dwell in his house and to seek him in his temple. In the end, to gaze upon the beauty of the Lord is to dwell in his house, finding in his temple the essence of divine beauty, a beauty that transcends time and space.